You know, there was a sense among some that when the Warriors won Game 2 of the finals, they had actually won the finals, that they already had the Larry O in their hands, and it was just a matter of scheduling the parade. I mean, right? They were going back to Oakland tied up at 1 game apiece. They had ripped the home court. They got right. Kevin Durant was about to come back. It was over for Toronto. It was just a matter of getting the injury update from the team and then figuring out whether or not you would beat Toronto in 5 games or 6. But then the injury update from the team did come, and it read like this, quote, Warriors guard Klay Thompson, who exited last night's Game 2 of the NBA Finals with 7:59 remaining in the fourth quarter due to left hamstring tightness, underwent an MRI exam today in the Bay Area. The MRI indicated a mild strain of the hamstring. At this point, Thompson is listed as questionable for Game 3 on Wednesday. The report went on. Forward, Kevon Looney, who did not play in the second half of last night's Game 2 of the NBA Finals due to an upper body injury, underwent an MRI exam today in the Bay Area. The MRI indicated that Looney has suffered a non-displaced first costal cartilage fracture. He will be out indefinitely. End quote. Yeah, that's not the injury update that Warrior fans were hoping for. They were hoping for some good news about Kevin Durant. Instead, they get news that Klay Thompson is questionable for tomorrow night. And as I said yesterday, I'm no doctor, but when I saw Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant busting on that, quote, bum-ass Aubrey in the tunnel after Game 2, KD looked a hell of a lot more agile to me than Klay did. So, we might not see Klay in Game 3. And it looks as if we won't see Looney, a guy that Steve Kerr had previously called a foundational piece for the rest of the series. So maybe we focus on that for a minute instead of conspiracy theories about Nike t-shirts and Toronto property purchases. You know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, that's cool. You're fine. You're not really missing out, at least not yet. Because this sets up today as one of the most important off days of the Warriors season. Maybe one of the most important off days of the entire dynasty. Like, how does Klay look? How does KD look? Can one or both go tomorrow night? And if one or both can go, how much can they give? Or do they both miss out? You know KD wants to be out there badly. All you had to do was watch him in the hallway and see how fired up he was for his teammates to know how badly he wants to be out there and doing everything he can to lock up another ring, to re-engage. For a guy who has allegedly already left Golden State, he sure seems anxious to get back into the fight with his guys. And we know Klay is doing everything he can between now and then to be ready to go tomorrow night. Don't confuse this dude's laid-back, cowy demeanor for any lack of grit or toughness. Dude would cut off his leg if he thought he'd have a chance to go tomorrow night. And if you really want to get into the weeds on it, there is camera phone footage of Klay and KD moving fairly well at the airport when the team plane finally did land after Game 2, which is encouraging. They look pretty good moving around. Getting off the plane, too. Except hamstrings and calves are funny, right? They are. And by funny, I mean they suck. You're better off jacking up your ankle than straining your hamstring or your calf. At least you can tape up an ankle and muscle through it. You can't muscle through a muscle strain. And even if you do get out there, it can go at any minute. Which means the Warriors have just over 24 hours to figure out how to handle this. And then on top of that, you need Steph Curry to get fully healthy. You need Andre Iguodala to get as close to healthy as you can get. And as effective as DeMarcus Cousins was in Game 2, and he was huge, he's still dinged in trying to come back from a couple of significant injuries. In other words, they're jacked up physically. Not that anybody is going to cry for the Warriors. Not that they're looking for any of your sympathy anyway. Oh, yeah, you're going to be without 2 Hall of Famers, and now you'll have to go with 3 instead of the usual 5. Yeah, not exactly the type of thing that's going to inspire any sympathy. But it is a problem. It's a problem. If KD and Klay are both out, exactly where do the points come from? And again, it's not just KD and Klay. It's also Looney. He's done for the finals. I mean, no mystery there, but that's a loss. That's a big loss now. He was turning into a defensive monster. He was comfortable guarding guys like James Harden on the perimeter. He was eating glass on the inside. Now they've got to go without him too. And again, it didn't matter in Game 2 because DeMarcus Cousins turned in a legendary game. But can Boogie do it again? Can you count on him for another double-double in 28 minutes? That's a big, big ask for the big fella. Not saying he can't, but that was an epic performance. Can he match it? Can he exceed it? They may need him to. And can jungle and societal legend Andrew Bogut keep on giving you that presence on both ends? How does Toronto respond now that they've got time to prepare for that? Because you know Nick Nurse is going to work something up. He always does. So let me reiterate. I said it yesterday. I'll say it again right now. This series was not over after Game 1. It sure as hell is not over after Game 2, especially since we have no idea who's going to go Wednesday night and who won't, and even if they do, how much they can give. What I'm saying is, popped hammies, jacked up calves, broken collarbones are not the blueprint for stopping the best two-way player in the game, Kawhi, from getting to his spots. This thing is not over. Far from it. We've got a series here. And while I'm sure the Dubs would like as much time as possible to get their guys right, I can't wait for tip-off tomorrow.